Welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to demonstrate new zero trust fine-grained access control features in AI telemetry to grant access control to pages to higher level scopes for managers to access status reports of applications and see additional data that's not accessible to other users. So you can have different levels of permissions within the application and grant higher and higher level access with scopes. So let's dive in. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. This is AI telemetry, and we have projects going on in AI telemetry, and we have tenants. So if I click on tenants, I'm logged in. Now I am assigned to two different groups. My user has a group tenant nar get and tenant nar get manager. And this is a new feature that's available in AI telemetry and spine programming, where we can grant higher level permissions to managers to see more details about a project. So I click on nar, and then it takes me to the project dashboard for this tenant. And you can see that some of these projects have a status report here, and some of them don't. So we import markdown status reports on an import process. And so this is originally markdown, but we render it as HTML, and it lets us report on the status of the project. And I can click here to see the metrics for this project and their memory utilization and CPU utilization and their network traffic, and see it spike. That's interesting. And then their GPU utilization over time, which is really high here across multiple nodes and devices. So yeah, so this is interesting because we have two different scopes going on here. So let me open this page here in a new tab, and let me also open the API. Okay, so if I search for .md, let's see, oops, not that. I want the, not the tenant API, but the project API. So then I go to the project, I click API. All right, so if I search in here, I search for .md, and there's the status page template URI that has the template URI path to the markdown file. And then I also have this page open to the status report. And then I'm going to open a page up to the metrics here and show you what happens if we remove these scopes. So I'm going to go to Keycloak, and I'm already authenticated here. I'm going to go to my realm, NERC, and go to users, computate, groups, and I'm going to leave this manager group, and let's see what happens on these various pages. So if I leave the manager group and I reload this page, then what happens is I refresh, and look, I don't see the status reports anymore. They've all disappeared. And before it looked like this. It had the status reports, and then now they're gone. And then I still have access to this page if I refresh, because I still, let's see, refresh. Okay, so my session still shows that I have Git Manager, but it's actually taken that group away because my session token hasn't expired. And if I refresh this page, then let's see. Okay, so I still see the status page URI. Do I see the status report? No, that gets taken away. And so I no longer have access to the status report anymore. And it is tricky to, with these session tokens. So I'm going to log out and log back in. And go to tenants, this BTS data agent project. And now if you look at my groups, I don't have that group anymore. And if I refresh this, let's see. Okay, so the status page template URI is still there. All right, so let me take a look at project.java, scope, Git manager. Okay, so I think there's still some work to do because I want to be able to hide this field from the API, but it's still in there. So that may still have some things to work out, but we have successfully removed access to the status report. I no longer have access to that if I try to go to the same URL. And from this page, I no longer have the link available. So that's good. And similarly, at the bottom of this page, it would show a button to the status report. So if I come back to Keycloak and I rejoin a group, tenant nar git manager, and I refresh the page, here's where I think I still need to log out and then log back in. And go to TS data agent. And at the bottom of this page, I do see the status report. And I can click on that and go to the status report. So users do have to lose their session before they lose access to the status report button, but they immediately lose access to the status report when they lose the scope. So it's not perfect, but it does, I mean, the user interface still has that group session thing remaining that shows the status report button. But when we take it away and let's see, where did that page go? We refresh this page and we go to the bottom, it is taken away. And similarly, we can't access the status report. So at least, yeah, so this is working really well. Where if you want to take away somebody's privileges at runtime, it actually works. They lose access to the button, they lose access to the status report page. Um, but if you add somebody to a group, then they're not going to see the button to click on it until they start a new session, log out, log in. That's the only quirk that's remaining. But the reason for that is in the code. So if we look at project enus gen API service in bold that was generated with spine programming, and we go to / yeah, edit page, which is this page that we were on right here, the edit project hub cluster Barcelona project TS data agent. That's the edit page. And what we do is we make sure the user is authenticated with this user thing, and then we get back a site request object. And then we prepare a request to the Keycloak permissions API, where we're going to get some ticket information about permissions. And so we check for a project, do they have the Git scope? Do they have the Git manager scope, the post scope, the patch scope, the delete scope, the admin scope, the super admin scope for project? And then I have a tenant scope. So it loops through all of my groups because my session knows my groups, like here, groups. This is an old view when I used to have admin, but it knows my groups. And for each group that matches a specific regular expression, like tenant, so this is /tenant -nar -git and /tenant -nar -git manager. Then we look for all of those groups, we filter on them, and we add a permission check for that specific group and scope. So tenant -nar and scope get and git manager. And so all of these, in fact, we could debug this to show you. Let me just pull up tenants here. Okay, tenants nar TS data agent. Then I think we go to, oh yeah, the edit page. This is the edit page for, oh, I need to go to AI Telemetry, computate, and tenants, nar, BTS data agent. And oh yeah, I hit the breakpoint. So M permission group 1 is something. It's giving us a hard time here. What is going on? My debugger is freaking out. I wonder why. Well, I might need to restart my workbench, but that's okay. Um, we we check these permissions for the tenant and then we submit that request to Keycloak, and then if we end up with the right scope, then we add some filter queries to prevent retrieving records that don't match the particular scope that the user has access to. So we filter on the tenant and make sure that any results returned from the API match the tenant that they have if they have the Git permissions. And then we perform the query from the search engine to retrieve those projects and set the updated scopes in the request. And that's how it works. My debugger is kind of overwhelmed. Maybe I need to restart my workbench or something, but that is how it's done. So I hope that was interesting. And if you need to generate some fine-grained access control with different levels of scopes, I recommend going to spineprogramming.com and learn more about spine programming. We're going to be presenting spine programming and the research paper. Oh, I need to put a link to the research paper here, which is, yeah, I got some website updates to do, but at smack.computate.org, we have this. You can read the research paper here and learn more about spine programming, which is how AI telemetry was built. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.